Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. I want nobody to correct me. Let me tell you what she actually means. What she's trying to say is that, like, if he want her to do something like around the house or something for him or something like that, she'll do that. She don't got no problem with that. What she doesn't want is for a man to make her elevate. You understand what I'm saying? She doesn't want a man that is going to apply certain standards that are going to force her to elevate. See, because she's willing to, like, just be cool and not do a lot of upheaval. She's willing to not be an upheaval. I'm not arguing, you know what I'm saying, and making a big problem. However, the other side isn't much better. Don't apply standards to me that make me have to do the introspection, do the work, and address myself so that I can be a better person and uplift and elevate my own way of thinking and doing in order to work with you and be with you to make this relationship work. In other words, I want you to accept me how I am, because what you're really going to hear as this unfolds is she thinks that because she doesn't drink, smoke, run the street, you know what I'm saying, in the club with running around with a bunch of chicks, running around with a bunch of dudes, she thinks she don't need to do nothing more than that. She thinks, I'm going to repeat that because of the things that she does not do, that should be covering the things that she should do. And that doesn't work. Speaking as a former broken down lioness, speaking as a former broken down lioness, you get trapped for a time in the, well, at least I don't trap. At least I don't, it's a trap. Because speaking from my past personal experience, at least I wasn't a hoe. Right? I wasn't an argumentative woman. I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't a street runner. I wasn't a party goer. I didn't run around with ratchet friends. I didn't have male friends. I didn't have none of that stuff. But I was just as broken as anybody could have been coming out that boneyard. My mind needed to be fixed. And I had some spirituality. I was Muslim. I've been Muslim since 1996. Okay? That's where you can start. Because, see, when I first got married, obviously I didn't know then what I know now about being a wife. But I had to start with what you don't do, because I didn't know what to do. And see, that's a trap. A lot of women fall in that. You can know what not to do, but that doesn't automatically mean you know what to do. See, I had to learn what to do. I kind of figure what not to do. Right? That was a start. Don't be, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, don't be argumentative. I'm not a street runner. He don't have to keep gathering me. He don't have to not trust me around men, or, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. I'm not somewhere where he got to try to figure out, well, what is she doing? Or where is she going? I was always where I said I was going to be. I was always doing what I said I was going to do. When he came home, I was home. The meals was cooked. The house was clean. So I knew what not to do. But I didn't know what to do. And I needed a lot of work to get to a point where not only was I just staying away from the obviously bad things that you do in your marriage, and I moved into the good things that you do to support your marriage. You understand? Because there's the things you do to break it, the obvious stuff, the big things. But then now you have to learn how to support your marriage and how to make it thrive from your end as the wife. In other words, I had to learn how to be a wife. I had to learn more about my lionessness. That took work. And not only did it take work, it took the willingness to do the work. It took the willingness and the humility that it took to allow my husband's order to make me be like, you got work to do though. Because see, I was still depressed. You understand? I still had low self-esteem. I still had low self-value, a low sense of self-worth. I still had that stuff going on. And that can be as devastating to your marriage as your man catching you cheating. It's almost worse because the other stuff is a slow chip. It's a slow work of breaking your marriage before it can even begin. All of them depressed episodes I used to have and crying fits. It's a wonder. It's a wonder that the marriage lasted. You understand? And the only reason that he was as patient as he was about it is because on top of that, I wasn't a Hellcat. You understand? I didn't keep up drama and mess for him. But I was chaotic within myself. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. This is why I talk the way I talk. Because I've been through that, but you got to come through it. You cannot sit where you are and think that the world is supposed to pity you. You can't. You can't just sit there, ladies. If you got depression issues, if you got self-image issues, self-esteem, you gotta work on that. And if you have a husband that is willing to be patient and that is willing to give you some structure and some order and some things and some tools that's gonna help you better yourself, have the humility to take it and use it and do it. Do your work. Do your work. He cannot do that work for you. He can't. I don't care how much your husband loves you. You understand me? I don't care how much a man loves you. I don't care how much he value you. I don't care how much he care about you. He cannot do this work for you. He can't. It's not possible. You must do. You must do. Not him. He can only do so much. He can only give you tools. He can only give you leadership. He can only give you guidance. You have to take it. And you must do the work necessary to not only elevate yourself as a person, as a woman, as a wife, possibly as a mother to your children, but you also elevate his life. Because when you do the work and that fruit comes to bear, the fruit, the labor comes to fruition, both of you will be happy. You will be content. You will be at peace because he will see, I do have the jewel that I thought I had. She's the jewel I thought I had. She was rough around the edges. I had to keep on going in and polishing. I had to keep on going in and sanding it. I had to keep on going in. But now she's a diamond. She's a diamond. She's the diamond I married. You don't understand the trial of going through the work, but the break on the other side, though. Nobody talk about that. Everybody talk about how difficult the work is, and it is difficult. It is difficult. But nobody talks about the validation and the reward of the work at the end of the initial trial when you first face them demons. She has not faced her demons. She might be a good woman. She may be. I don't know her. But when I listened to her, I didn't hear a street runner, a whore, a prostitute. I didn't hear that. But what I did hear was that brokenness. And I heard a resistance